ESPN welcomes you back to Daytona. The Goodies Dash Series is now on the track. Last year's race, well, had some very exciting and tragic moments to it. Everybody not seriously injured. The pole sitter yesterday during qualifying was Ricky Bryan in the Washington Apple Commission Pontiac. And he won the pole position for the 200-mile race. Let's check out the rest of the lineup. Randy Humphrey will be alongside him in row number 1 with Robert Huffman and Johnny Chapman in row number 2.
Chapman and Humphrey have team cars here this afternoon. See B.J. Mackey back in 6th. Christian Elder, defending champion of this race, back in 9th. And the female, Angie Wilson, in 11th position. Scott Weaver involved in a huge crash here last year. Start 15th.
Here's 16 through 30. They include Trav Cruz starting in 17th position. The veteran Gary Moore 20th. Brian Sockwell 21st. Jake Hopgood qualified in 27th position. Mickey York, another veteran of the series, back in 29th position. And the remainder of the starting lineup with David Hutto taking the previous champion's provisional and will start in 42nd position. Justin Hopgood, who we talked to during the practice a couple of days ago, who was going to meet at least halfway, a new engine for that car, and he will take a provisional and start back at the tail of the field.
And there's their pole sitter. The white car is Ricky Bryant, and he's followed by Robert Huffman, the defending series champion. And that looks like Trav Cruz behind them. Meanwhile, I think that's Eddie Kelly in the 40 car that's trying to hook on, but Cruz says, hey, man, I had that spot.
Now, this is their final practice period, so it's a very important practice for some of these drivers. They want to get in as much drafting practice as possible. We will keep our eye on what's going on out here on the track, but we want to also bring you up to date on the latest activity back in the Winston Cup garage area. Let's go there with Bill.
And I'm here with Bobby Labonte and Tony Stewart, two drivers that have been surrounded by reporters following this qualifying session. Both you gentlemen outside the top 40 in this practice session. Could you address that for us first, Mr. Labonte?
Yes, thank you.
Tony Stewart, Bobby Labonte, back to our dash coverage.
Neither one seems a great deal worried, do they?
Not really.
Jake Hopgood is in the 64 car at the front of this field, and the 65 car of Justin Hopgood. Justin starts back in the 39th position. Let's meet him in this Goodies Dash Spotlight.
Hi, I'm Justin Hopgood, drive the 65 car. Love racing. Don't have many hobbies, really. I just work on race cars all the time and just love it to death. Just a lot of hard work. It takes all your social life and just throws it out the window. I guess my brother is my toughest competition. Me and Jake pretty much stay in the shop all the time, you know, working on race cars and try to keep them up. Still good brothers, good friends, but on the track, he's just another race car. I got to pass him.
Another brother got to pass it. Right now, he's following his brother, trying to learn something from the brother who's, what, 4 or 5 years older than he is. More experience. Oh, a little bit of wiggle there in the 65 car of Justin Hopgood. You know, I said Justin Labonte. You see it, he and his dad carry on the picture of the TV Guide this week.
Oh, yeah?
And this, I guess, the Southeastern edition.
Wow, great. These guys have always provided good drafting in the Goodies Dash races down through the years. It's one of the more competitive races that we have seen down through the years. Well, we met Justin. Let's now meet Jake Hopgood in another Goodies Dash Spotlight.
I'm Jake Hopgood. Enjoy racing. Probably like most other racers, you know, love to move up to that bush or Winston Cup level. I like the way Jeff Gordon handles himself, but I also like the driving style of Earnhardt. That's something I've always loved, you know. It never was football games or baseball games. It just always was race cars.
Real family affair. Jake's going to start back in 27th position, and Justin is in 39th.
And they both got it from their dad, Will Hopgood, who ran the Goodies Dash Series for a long, long time in that familiar Wins friction-proofing automobile.
Now looks like Justin may be moving to the front here.
Well, they got to take turns and see what the cars feel like in front, what the cars feel like in back. And Jake, looks like he might be going to quit, but I guess he's going to try to catch up now with Justin. Yep.
through the tri-oval. Goodies Dash happy hour here at Daytona. A.J. Boyd is pleased with the way his first day of practice has occurred here at Daytona. Goodies Dash practice continuing. On the left of your screen, the 77 of Johnny Chapman. Dropping off the pace a little bit is the number 2 car of Scott Weaver. And a lot of traffic out there on the track as they race down the backstretch.
And that red car right in the middle of the picture is Angie Wilson. There see Scott Weaver as he, as you said, off the pace, down on the inside, coasting back to the pit area.
Scott will start 15th in the Discount Auto Parts 200, which will be run here tomorrow, and that we will have coverage of at 3:30 on Sunday afternoon on ESPN. Let's meet Scott in this Goodies Dash spotlight.
Hi, I'm Scott Weaver in the Goodies Dash Series, car number 2. I build race cars, and I build my own cars, and I try to make them as safe as possible. I honestly feel like if you're on the racetrack, you're as safe as you would be going down the highway. It was a pretty tough deal at Daytona. That's the first time we'd ever really got in a bad wreck and got hurt. People think you push your luck when you're racing, but you know, it's a pretty safe sport. I could get hurt again tomorrow night or never get hurt again. Just, you can't never tell. I'm a little nervous, but I think once the green flag falls, we get back to racing, it'll be just like nothing ever happened.
Well, I'll tell you, he scared us during the Goodies Dash race last year here at Daytona in an absolutely horrifying crash.
Certainly did. I talked about Justin and Terry Labonte being on TV. Guys, someone in the truck told me that the Jarretts are also on this week. Ned, Dale, and Jason. There we see that 2 car of Scott Weaver. Watch this. He's going to come back across the racetrack and watch George Crenshaw right here. Both those drivers suffered broken legs in that crash.
But no life-threatening injuries, although it did look like a life-threatening accident. Here it is again from the onboard camera. And watch now Crenshaw come down. Out of the smoke right there. But Scott Weaver is back again.
And George Crenshaw is here as well. He is not driving. Edward Howell is driving his car this year. And George said, I'll be back next year.
There is Angie Wilson, who was the only female to make the starting lineup out of the 3 that came here with hopes. She'll be starting in 11th position. She had high hopes as she came to Daytona, and indeed may have a good run in the race. Let's meet her in another Goodies Dash spotlight.
Has to learn to respect from another driver, female or male. And, you know, when you're out on the track, it's not really female versus male. It's, you know, driver versus driver. It's a lot more respect than it is gender. The harder you work at it, the more you prove yourself, and anyone can do it.
Angie said her goal was to qualify in the top 10 here at Daytona. She just missed. She'll start in 11th position. She's a graduate of Western Carolina University in business management, but puts that aside to strap on the helmet.
Well, she could be good talking to sponsors then, couldn't she?
Yeah. We'll be watching Angie Wilson in the Discount Auto Parts 200 tomorrow afternoon. Well, 41 cars and drivers have been on the racetrack so far in this practice session, all but one. She is 9th fastest, Angie Wilson is at this point. The fastest of all is Keith Rogan at 164.084. Christian Elder, who won this race last year, is 2nd. Ricky Bryant, the pole sitter, is 3rd on the speed chart right now. More from Daytona International Speedway in a moment. Bob Jacobs, Benny Parsons, Jerry Punch, Bill Weber back at Daytona International Speedway. This is practice for the Goodies Dash Series. There is the number 24 car of Mickey York, who will start in 29th position. He's celebrating his 22nd year in this series this year. One of the biggest supporters of the series. He was the 1992 series champion and has been voted most popular driver in the series on 3 different occasions. A more close-up view of Mickey York in this Goodies Dash Spotlight.
Good job, drivers.
Hi, I'm Mickey York from Asheboro, North Carolina. I race in the Goody Dash Series. I'm proud of it. I run the car number 24. We run a used auto parts business back home and run a race car parts and supply house. Started racing in 1971 at a dirt track back home and have pretty much enjoyed every minute of it. I'd like to be remembered as somebody that was fair on and off the racetrack and that you could race with and that was fair in business or just as a friend.
And that is a family affair with Mickey York. His wife travels with him to each race. His daughter's there each race and have been ever since I've known Mickey York. And I guess I was there in maybe 1971 when he first started.
Down to Bill Weber.
And back here in the Dash paddock where Robert Huffman has brought the White House Apple Juice Pontiac back to his garage stall, as you say. Starting third. You just came back from drafting. You all set?
Well, I think we are. You know, we got a good starting spot, and, you know, we've always struggled a little bit in the race, just being able to pull out and lead the race and just stay there. But I think this year we might have something for them. We'll just have to see.
Look at that smile. You qualified better than you thought you were going to.
Yeah, we did. You know, I really thought I could run about a 56.50, and we run a 30. So, you know, we were real happy with that. I really didn't think it would hold up for a third-place start, but, you know, I don't know what Ricky and them done for qualify, but they really put it on them, and, you know, hope this White House Apple Juice Pontiac will be up front tomorrow.
I'm going to go down there and find out in a minute, but I do want to ask you, because we talked to you the other day, you said you were concerned about being able to pull out and pass. Do you think you have that setup and that power to be able to do that now?
Well, I think if we get a couple cars in a line, I do. You know, it's just hard. It's just like Winston Cup racing. If you get two running together, the second-place man's just kind of hanging on. And, you know, I think we've got more than we've had to work with before. The car feels awful good through the corners, and you know, I've always struggled a little bit through the corners down here, so I think we're going to be in good shape.
Now, those Cup guys can stay in a pack here. These Dash cars, they'll split up into several packs, so it's a huge advantage here to be qualified up front.
Yeah, you know, we just don't have sense enough to stay in one pack. No, you know, it's a good division, a lot of good racers in it, and, you know, I think that's the reason this Dash race is usually one of the best races of the week. You know, there's a lot of passing going on, and there is 2 or 3 different packs drafting along, and, you know, it makes for an exciting race.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Robert Huffman, defending series champion. He's won 3 titles in the Goodies Dash Series, and he starts third tomorrow.
He will be tough to beat. Meanwhile, back in the Winston Cup garage area, we got stuff going on. They're, of course, finished with their practice period. We understand that Darrell Walter is washing the windows.
Now, there is expensive window washer right there. Yes, sir.
I don't want anything on my window. I want to be sure I can see where I'm going.
Well, you know these Winston Cup drivers, but perhaps you're not familiar with some of the drivers that will, most of the drivers probably that compete in this Goodies Dash Series. We've got some good talent out there, and we try to introduce them to you and give you somebody to cheer for when you watch the race on Sunday afternoon at 3:30 Eastern Time. Here's a driver from Indianapolis, Eddie Kelly. More in this Goodies Dash Spotlight.
Hi, my name's Eddie Kelly. I've got the number 40 Goodies Dash car. I'd like to help the youth of America that enjoy motorsports. Miniature Motorsports has a youth program called Future Stars of Racing. The original concept was for youth, 12 to 15, just to get involved in motorsports in a stock car-like environment. The cars are actually a miniature stock car. As much spare time as I do have, I devote to youth and racing and try to get young people involved in motorsports so that this sport can continue to grow like it is.
Well, that's pretty neat.
How about that?
Then we see Eddie Kelly's 12 passes so far, the 162.75 miles per hour. Dan Shaver in the 49 car attempts to go by on the outside, but Eddie Kelly has it inside that preferred groove.
Back down to Bill Weber in the garage area of the Goodies Dash Series.
And, Bob, we're back here looking at the number 1 car driven by Scott Kraling. He qualified 14th, but just a few minutes ago on the racetrack, he lost a motor. So they do have a backup motor. They're going to go ahead and change it out. And obviously he is done for today, but they're going to change it out, put in their backup motor, and then hope for the best here in the race on Saturday, which, of course, you can see on Sunday. Scott was here a minute ago, but actually, to be quite honest, he's on a cell phone. I think he's delivering some bad news to somebody. We might have beat him to it.
starting 14th in the race, but suffering a setback here in the final practice period. Scott trailing. We'll come back with more in just a moment. Still very much wintertime in parts of the country, and we understand there's a big storm brewing, so Sunday would be probably a good day to just stay in and watch racing, because all day long you're going to have activity from here at Daytona. The Bud Shootout Last Chance Qualifiers, 11 o'clock on ESPN, then the actual Bud Shootout itself on CBS. Come right back, though, to ESPN at 1:30 for the Protocol 200 of the Arcabando Marhide Series. And then right after that, the Discount Auto Parts 200 for the NASCAR Goodies Dash Series at 3:30 on Sunday afternoon. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com. 44 car is on the racetrack. That is Doc Brewer, who will be starting in 30th position.
As he told us in practice, sponsored by Blue Ribbon. I haven't heard that word in a long, long time. Looks like the 98 car, Roger Mosier, behind Doc.
And why do they call him Doc? Well, there's a good reason for that, because he's a doctor. Let's find out more in another Goodies Dash Spotlight here on ESPN.
Yeah, I'm Doc Brewer, driver of the 44 Goodies Dash car. I'm a doctor and went to the same school that Jerry Punch did, Bowman Gray School of Medicine. Take care of Bobby and Terry Labonte and DW, quite a few of them whenever they need it. I do the racing for enjoyment, kind of clears my mind so that when I do go back to medical practice, take some of the drudgery out of it.
Well, between Dr. Brewer and Dr. Punch, things are pretty well covered down in the garage area, aren't they?
Drudgery handle, don't we? I wonder if Dr. Punch looks like that on his casual time off.
What about that, Doc Punch?
What casual time off?
Excuse me. And you didn't see the picture we were talking about, Jerry, with Doc Brewer with his, what do you call those shirts? Tank top shirts on. There you go.
No, I didn't see the picture, BP, but obviously it's nice for a doctor to be able to relax every now and then. You know, one guy we want to mention, by the way, if you're going to talk about doctors, Mike Wass is not a doctor. He won this race in 1979, the very first winner at this event here at Daytona. But I'll mention that he's driving the Bishop Farms Pontiac, and qualified 34th for the race coming up tomorrow. Now, his car owner, Bill Bishop, who owns that car, grew up in the Daytona area, and it was his dream to someday have a car that he owned race at Daytona. Yesterday, unfortunately, during qualifying, Bill Bishop started having chest pain. Came down off the spotting stand, was taken by paramedics to Halifax Hospital, and is in Halifax Hospital. In about an hour and a half ago, underwent angioplasty, I was told, and so he's in the hospital, and guess what? He will not be able to see his car race tomorrow. So Mike and the whole team are thinking about him. They went out to practice a moment ago, but they will race. But their owner's lifelong dream of seeing his car run, it won't happen. He'll be in the hospital, and they might let him watch it on television.
Wow. Mike Watts will be one of 3 former winners of this race in the field. The 99 winner, Christian Elder, starts 9th. Brian Sockwell, who won in 97, starts 21st. And Mike, 79 winner, as Jerry said, starts 34th. Eddie Howell, Edward Howell in the number 10 car. Here's the 07 down the backstretch with the 94 of Keith Rogan. And Keith, by the way, remains as the fastest in practice. Edward Howell.
Now, this is George Crenshaw. Remember we saw that big crash with Crenshaw last year?
With Scott Weaver?
With Scott Weaver. Well, this is Crenshaw's car. He's back as an owner this year, but Edward Howell is the driver.
And let's meet Edward Howell, the driver of the 07 car in this Goodies Dash Spotlight.
My name is Edward Howell. I live in Lakeland, Florida. I'm a senior account manager. Salesperson is actually what it is. Bearings and power transmission products. I've got a 14-year-old son that plays baseball. I coach his baseball team. My son loves to play golf, so we go out and golf. But I'll guarantee you just about every Saturday night you'll find me and my son at a racetrack somewhere.
Good for you, Edward.
Edward will start 10th outside the 5th row.
Little racing, Keith. He's going fast. Right now, Edward Howell was 19th best at 161.737, which is probably 2 or 3 miles per hour faster than he qualified because of the draft.
Justin Hopgood, by the way, just became the 4th fastest in this practice period at 163.330. There on the right of your screen is the fastest of all in this practice period, with Elder, Bryant, and then Hopgood. Brian Gandy, the 5th fastest, and the defending champion of the series, Robert Huffman. Angie Wilson is the 11th fastest, and Eddie Kelly, that we met a few minutes ago, is 15th fastest.
Check out 16 through 30. B.J. Mackey, good friend out of Rock Hill in 18th. Ernest Winslow out of Eastern North Carolina in 22nd. Brian Sockwell. I think Brian Sockwell is a former winner of this race. In 28th, and Mickey York in 30th.
And the rest of the drivers that have been out on the racetrack, Ned Combs, the slowest in a Lincoln product, 41st fastest at 141.272. Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway, where the Goodies Dash Series is in their final practice prior to their event tomorrow, the 200-miler. That car there on the right of your screen is the 93, driven by Randy Humphrey. He will start on the outside of row number 1. We take a closer look at him in this Goodies Dash Spotlight.
Hello, I'm Randy Humphrey, driver of the number 93 Goody Dash car. I'm part-time. I have a full-time job. I develop real estate and own a couple of other companies in the Charlotte, North Carolina area. I started the company 14 years ago. Started from scratch. We develop subdivisions. We do 700 or 800 blocks a year in the Charlotte area, and it's been real good for me and my family. And that allows me to go racing on the weekends. It's always been a lifelong dream.
And Randy has a team car. Johnny Chapman driving the 2nd car for Randy here this weekend.
Winston Cup division, of course, we see full-time race drivers, but in this division, most of the drivers have a job
yes.
besides racing.
Most of them have a business that supports their racing, as Randy Humphrey does. Johnny Chapman is his team car is a professional driver. He races for a living, but I'm sure he brought a lot to the plate in helping Randy get his car figured out for this race on Saturday afternoon.
Bill Weber is with Angie Wilson, who'll start 11th.
And as Bob mentioned, 3 women did try to make this field. Angie is the sole survivor, and a good qualifying effort out of you, 11th, but a lot different in a pack of traffic.
Yeah, it is a lot different. You know, when you came and test and you come and practice, and usually you just get up with one other car. And just now we had about 4 or 5 car drafts out there, and a lot of good teams in with them. And I really don't know how we did yet because I haven't heard over the radio, but I think we felt pretty comfortable with it, and that's what it takes. It takes getting out there and taking your chances just a little bit in practice to make a good run to the race.
So that was tough out there, wasn't it?
Very tough. It was actually a lot tougher than I expected. Last year we didn't have near as seat time as I would have liked to have with drafting, and I think that's probably the most drafting I've ever done in my whole life. But I held my own ground and didn't cause anybody to bobble or, didn't cause anybody to wreck. So I think we'll do pretty good.
These cars are very light, and they do feel the effects of the air being buffeted about.
Very much so. When you have 2 cars, you don't feel it near as much. When you have 5 cars out there, it's extremely, you're just like moving from lane to lane without even having to steer.
Your goal for tomorrow?
My goal tomorrow, we qualified 11th, and my goal for tomorrow is to stay with the lead pack and not let them get out of your side. And, there's a lot of them. It's not just the moves you make, there's a lot of thinking behind it. And if you can just keep up with the lead pack and draft and stay out of everybody's trouble in them failures, you should have a good run here at Daytona.
Obviously, all the women will be rooting for Angie tomorrow.
I hope so. I've got a lot of support from the women, especially through ESPN and especially down here in the pits. So it makes me feel good to have the women on my side, and hopefully I can give them and everybody a good run.
Yeah, you went over there and lobbied for support in the ESPN compound, didn't you?
Well, I mean, you have to do what you have to do in this business of racing, and that's how it goes. So, you know, I have a lot of friends. Everybody's been real respectful and super nice to me, and I hope to keep them.
Okay, well, they're telling me in my ear to wish you best of luck from all the women and best of luck from all of them.
Okay, well, I appreciate it very much, and thank you, Accent Marketing, for sending us down here in Jim Cook Chevrolet. Thank you very much.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Angie Wilson. And the ladies will also be rooting for Shauna Robinson, who has qualified for the 11th starting position in the Protocol 200 ARCA race on Sunday. On the racetrack is the number 86 car of Link Kaiser, who will be starting in 31st spot. He's another one of these drivers who has a job and a business besides driving race cars. Let's meet him.
Hi, I'm Link Kaiser. I'm a stock car driver and an ex-fashion model. I've been a fashion model for the past 10 years, and we want to use that experience to attract sponsors. I like to think of myself as a blue-collar model because, you know, you never see me. You don't recognize me as a star, you know, so I'm the behind-the-scenes kind of model, you know. I have been getting ribbing, but, you know, I'll take it. I can take it. So what? I've been a model, and if I can perform and produce, what can they say?
You know, he's traveled all over the country modeling for Calvin Klein and LL Bean and Eddie Bauer. But you know how he started, guys? In Winston-Salem, North Carolina, he was building go-karts and actually racing go-karts as a youngster. And then he had a soft drink route. He was actually delivering Sundrop soft drinks on a soft drink truck in Greensboro. And one day during a lunch break, he picked up a paper and saw an ad in the paper, the call to apply to become a male model. He called, applied, and 12 years later, he's been very, very successful all over the world modeling clothes. And now, a relationship with Victor Brown, who's actually an actor in Hollywood, who actually co-owns this race car, that's allowed him to go racing and come to Daytona Beach. Let's check in once again with Bill.
And back there in the dash garage, the 5-car of pole sitter Ricky Bryant has come back to his spot. And here, I didn't mean to stop you from working. What are you doing?
Oh, just talking about a few things. You know, qualifying trim is a whole lot different than what the race trim will be. And we're trying to figure out right now if we can control the water temperature leading and if we're behind a guy right now. So we're discussing that and what we're going to do this afternoon.
So do you have a water temperature ailment?
No, out front I don't, but tucked up behind somebody right now I do. So we're going to discuss that and see if we can't get it worked out.
Benny would tell you the answer to that is stay up front.
No, that's exactly right. That's what I'm going to try to do all day.
Well, congratulations on your pole-winning run. Obviously a good lap. A great lap because you smoked everybody else.
Yeah, I sure did. Both laps, even the first lap would have been good enough to set on the pole, but we work real hard and we pay attention to details, and we got a great team and a great sponsor.
You've been to victory lane before, but not here. This would be a huge one for you.
Oh, man, this would be great. If we could, that'd just be the ultimate, wouldn't it?
Apples for everybody.
Yeah, that's for dang sure.
Good luck. Why are you out of breath?
Oh, man, I tell you what, you know, out there in the draft, you're 3 or 4 cars, and you got a car underneath you and everything. It gets pretty exciting, and you get up on the steering wheel around here because these cars move so much, and I guess I'm just excited to be here.
Okay, we're excited for you. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Ricky Bryant, the pole sitter for the Goodies Dash race.
And he will start from pole. Alongside will be Randy Humphrey for the Goodies Dash Discount Auto Parts 200. Here's the rest of the starting lineup. Huffman and Chapman start 3rd and 4th. Christian Elder, who won the race last year, goes from 9th position. And Scott Weaver, who crashed so badly last year, hopes for a better fate. He starts in 15th.
And you see the positions 16 through 30. Doc Brewer back in 30th. And you see the speeds at 157, 158. These cars in the draft will probably run 162, 163 miles per hour.
And the remainder of the starting lineup for the race, which will be run tomorrow, and you can see on ESPN at 3:30 Sunday afternoon. That will be part of a big day of racing on ESPN Sunday. The last chance qualifier for the Bud Shootout at 11, the ARCA race at 1:30, and the Goodies Dash race at 3:30 on Sunday afternoon. We'll be right back. We will give you the entire starting lineup, the ARCA race, in a few moments. But right now, let's go back to the Dash Garage area and Bill Weber.
And I'm with Justin Hopgood, and last time we left you, you were in desperate need of a new motor. You got it, but your qualifying effort wasn't all that great.
No, we kind of goofed up on our qualifying, got a little too much oil in the motor, and I think the night air hurt us a little bit. We didn't have the carburetor jetted right, and the car just didn't perform. I never could get it up to RPMs, and we just didn't really perform that well.
Now, how did you get that motor, and tell us where it came from?
Actually, we borrowed it from Jimmy Hutto, David Hutto's dad. We blew the motor last year at Lakeland, Florida, and we borrowed it for the last 3 races of the year. And my dad called him, and he told us we could have it for this race, too. So we kind of had a friend that brought it down to us. And we got here about 6:30 that morning and stuck it in and went out and tested and qualified.
That's not a friend, that's a hero.
Yeah, that's a hero. His name's Don Ergel, and he's done a lot for us, and he brought the motor down, hauled it all the way down here for us to try to make a qualifying effort.
Now, you have to come from the back of the pack. Can you do it?
I believe we can do it. We got a pretty fast race car. Like I said, we just kind of messed up in qualifying a little bit. Just one of those deals, you know, and try to take our time, hopefully get pit stops right and get back up with the leaders. And me and my brother just drafted, and we run pretty good together. So if we can hook up, we maybe can go to the front.
And as much as these cars move around in the air, they can be tough to hang on to getting through traffic.
Oh, yeah, they're very tough. And then, you know, you got other people you got to contend with, so...
They may not be willing to let you get by. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. You just got to hold on and try to go, and that's all you can do, really.
I'm glad your motor got here. Thanks for being a good sport. Best of luck.
I appreciate it.
Justin Hopgood starts 39th here in the Goody Dash race on Saturday.
And we'll look at the entire starting lineup now for the ARCA race, the Protocol 200 on Sunday afternoon. The results of qualifying that we covered yesterday for you.